Good morning everybody and welcome back to the vlog. So for the last couple days I've been just thinking over this whole drifting thing and how I stopped, and it's been about 6 months actually since I've been at the track. I sold my S14 and I said, hey, let's build another drift car. You know, mainly just so I could go drifting again. But then I started to think, I'm like, building another drift car is gonna take a long time, and that's where most people fail. They want to build this ultimate drift car, you know, 400 or 500 horsepower, Wisefab, everything, blah 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 blah. That takes time. That takes time and money. So I said, all right, let's think this through, and what's the quickest and easiest way to go drifting? By picking up a missile. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of a missile car because, you know, it's ugly, it's beat up. You can't call it a missile car if you don't own a nice car. Well, I've owned nice cars and I've realized that you baby them too much and you just don't go and have as much fun as you should drifting. Drifting is about fun, going out as much as you can and getting the seat time. So I went online, started looking around, and I came across this convertible coupe. And let me tell you, the deal was so good I couldn't resist it. So the reason why this car was such a good deal is because it has a rod knock. It has a stock KA in it, and the owner actually already picked up a spare block. He just honestly didn't have time to drop it in. So he let the car go for cheap. Not gonna get into details on how much I paid for it, but believe me, it was a good deal. So let me get the car unloaded, put it up in jack stands, go over it. I know it's got some goodies in it, some basic stuff, nothing crazy, but I know it's good enough to go drifting and have fun. So let's get going. Alright, now that I got the car on the jack stands, let's go over it and let's see what this car actually came with. So it's got a factory KA, dual cam. It already has a 5-speed manual transmission conversion. These convertibles came automatic. You can see it's got the clutch master already installed over there. It has an ISR aluminum radiator. It looks like it's got a leak on the overflow hose. It's got silicone upper and lower hoses. It has a Sylvia front end. These look to be 30mm over fenders in the front, 30mm over fenders in the rear. The entire kit looks like it's a D-Max knockoff. It has these clear tail lights. One cool thing I noticed in the trunk, it has 5-lug hubs front and rear. They look pretty used, but I'm hoping for the best. Keeping my fingers crossed that the bearings are still good. That'll be a quick and easy 5-lug conversion. It has a full cat back exhaust. Looks to be an ISR exhaust. As for the suspension, it's got ISR coilovers, fully adjustable. ISR tow arm adjustable, upper control arm and tension arm all adjustable. Going to the front, same thing, ISR coilovers, ISR tension arms. It's got these cool crossing drilled and slotted rotors. Interior of the car is complete trash. I mean, beyond trash if I was to call it. But that's okay, I'm gonna tear the whole thing out. So as I mentioned before, this KA actually has a rod knock, but I do have a replacement motor, so hopefully that motor is gonna be good. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that one as well. I definitely don't want to go source a new engine. I'm also going to strip out the interior today as much as I can at least. I would like to prep the car up to make a roll bar behind the seats. Just, you know, a little extra safety while drifting at the track. It is a convertible, so there is no roof protecting me from any unexpected rollovers. So I'm going to at least put a roll bar in here, probably throw some side impact bars in. I'm definitely going to strip these doors. They do have electric motors in them, so I might be able to salvage these and sell them on the local 240 forums. So I managed to gut the interior of the car. Seats will go back in. I decided to keep the carpet to not get the heat from the floor from the exhaust. So with the interior out, I have a little bit of an idea of where I'm gonna go with this. Since this is a convertible, it's strongly reinforced on the bottom section of the car since there's no roof to actually support the structure. So the idea is gonna be here to cut out all this reinforcement all around and then throw a roll bar right across. The reason why I want to cut out these reinforcements is because the diameter of the roll bar is not going to be that far apart if I keep this in there. The engine is just about ready to be pulled. I just got to pull the hood off to get a little bit more clearance. I got a cherry picker and this engine is just sitting here waiting to be driven. So I got the engine out. Yep, there it is. Wish I had a pressure washer, I could clean all this gunk up, but I guess I'll have to skip out on it this time. So the motor is pretty much completely stripped down now. All I got left is to remove the transmission and a clutch. Probably gonna run to the parts store and get a couple gaskets for the manifolds just to kind of refresh everything out. And then we'll be able to start assembling this new used engine together and dropping it back in the car. Definitely a come up. Got a brand new disc and the pressure plate. Probably less than like 200 miles on them, to be honest. The flywheel actually looks aftermarket as well. Looks like it's a lighter flywheel because of all these cutouts here all around it, but it definitely doesn't look new. It has quite a bit of hot spots on it. A couple clutch kicks would be my guess. That's okay, I'm not gonna resurface it. I really don't feel the need for it. This car doesn't really have that much power, so I don't see slipping clutch being a big problem in this setup. So I'm just gonna keep going and hopefully fire this thing up soon. So as I'm prepping up the new donor engine to be reassembled, I noticed that this was an automatic. The way I noticed it is this pilot bearing has a larger diameter than the manual transmission bearings, which is this guy right here. If I stick this in, it has a lot of play. I've come across this before, and automatic transmissions have a larger diameter for the input shaft that goes into the crankshaft. This actually gives me a good peace of mind about this engine, knowing that it came out of an automatic, because theoretically this engine should have taken less abuse being an automatic versus a manual, which, shoot, we all know probably would have been drifted and clutch kicked and redlined a shit bunch of times. So this is good news for me, but also bad news because this guy is a pain in the butt to remove. But no worries, once I get it out, I already have a new manual pilot bearing that I'm going to press right in there, and I'll continue right along. So I got the motor all back together. It's ready to go back in. Everything turned out to be okay. I replaced a couple of vacuum lines and gaskets while I was at it. It's always good to replace these vacuum lines when the engine's out, because it's just a lot easier to get to some of them, as if it being inside the car, obviously. So I got the motor in, all the fluids in, and the engine is running. Yeah, buddy. Sounds healthy. We're happy.